Welcome to the Lady Sows. I'm Sharon. Today I'm at the allotment. I need to install a new water butt. It's a lovely day. The sun is out, although it is perishing cold up here. I've got my earmuffs on because I can't wear a bobble hat because it falls down over my eyes and then I can't see. And I think these must be children's size, but they fit nicely. They keep my ears warm and that's all that matters. Now, before I can actually install this water butt, I've got this area here to clear. You can't really see very well because of the sun, but that dustbin's got to come out of it there, and I know that is full of compost. All this stuff here I've got to decide what to do with. That obelisk really should go home because it belongs to the house. I want to make it slightly larger, higher up than that one, because in the summer I'm actually going to put a connector between them so that, you know, one will fill the other. But in the meantime, I've got to get started on actually clearing space to be able to build this platform. And I don't think you can see it, just under those green hoops is a bucket which is 3/4 full with water, so I've got to move that out of the way as well. So I'm going to get started on that now. This used to be, well, I've used it for peas, this thing, but it's actually a raspberry support, but all the end bits have gone on it now. So that probably needs to go to the dump. These poles I'm going to keep because they can come in handy. We put these around the back here. I think I need to put my gloves on. Oh, there they are. I don't know what I've done with them. So I don't need to move all these stones, I don't think. I do need to move these poles out of the way. Get this out of it. Oh, there's some water in that. Let's just tip that into there. I know this water butt is full. I'm going to move this out of the way. This bucket has a brick in it to stop it tipping over. Right. It's moving this isn't going to be easy because I need to move these two bricks out of it. Actually, that hasn't been quite as bad as I was expecting. Right. I can see that that isn't very level there. The other one doesn't look very level anyway. So let's get on. Looking at that, I should have had 2 slabs. And I've only brought 1 slab, which makes me think I'm not going to be able to get this job finished, which is a real pain. Let me think about that. Oh, I'm going to put the bricks on it. I'm going to swap this lid. This is a dustbin lid, which I drilled some holes in. Don't know if you can see. This is not quite full actually. So I'm going to put that on there and put these 2 bricks on there. And then I shall fill this water butt up, and then fill this one up and put a lid on it. One of the things I got for collecting water in is this pot here. My brother-in-law gave me this old shower tray, and when I've got it at a slight slant and it rains, it fills this up really well. So I've got quite a lot of water in there that I can pick from. And then I've got water in this yellow bucket, which has netting off it to keep the insects out, and then this green trug as well. So I've got quite a bit of water to go in there. So looking at it, it's not brilliant, but it'll do for now. And as I say, the other one definitely looks like it's on a slant. What have I done with my spirit level? Let's have a look at it. Oh no, actually, it's actually level. Oh, how the eye can deceive. All right. While I'm here, I thought I'd answer a question that I've had about seeds and their viability, the difference between open pollinated and F1s. As a general rule of thumb, the larger the seed, the longer you can store it for. I think I had some broad bean seeds that I planted that were more than 5 years old. I didn't get 100% germination, but I got, considering the age of the seeds, I got actually quite good germination. So the smaller the seeds, the less viable they often are after a couple of years. One of the exceptions is parsnip and carrot seeds. Parsnips particularly, you have to buy new seeds every year. And to be honest, I think the same with carrots. I always buy fresh onion seed every year as well, because I have found in the past that I just don't get the same germination rate. I think part of the problem is the majority of the seed companies that we would buy our seeds from, the seeds aren't grown in this country. But not only that, if you think about it, the seed catalogues start coming out in August. Well, there aren't many plants that have produced their seeds by August, and not only have the catalogues been drawn up and the price put in and they're all ready for you to buy, how old is that seed? It might say packed for year ending 2025, but was it grown in 24? Was it grown in 23? You've got no way of knowing. And that's often why when you buy seed and you get poor germination, is because you just don't know how old the seed is. I buy a lot of my seeds from a company called Real Seeds. I'm not being sponsored by them at all, but the reason I like their seeds is because they are grown, or the bulk of them are grown in Wales. Their catalogue doesn't come out until November, so they don't know until then exactly what seeds they've got. So the seeds are fresh, and I find that I get far, far better germination from their seeds than I do from some of the big commercial companies. In fact, I've had to often send or complain because seeds, I've had virtually no germination at all from seeds. Of course, if you save your own seed, then of course you know that the seed is fresh, and you'll probably get at least 90% germination, if not 100% germination from saving your own seed. But there are only certain ones that you can save your seed from. So you can't save your seeds from F1s, for example, because they are, I suppose in a way, genetically modified. So they take different parents to create the seed. The F1 varieties were originally developed for the farming industry because they need everything to be ready at the same time, whereas home gardeners, we don't really need 6 cauliflowers all ready at once. We want a bit more of a succession. The plus side of F1s, of course, is the fact that you'll get uniformity as opposed to open pollinated. You can save your seeds from open pollinated plants because they are using the same parents. But you do need to grow quite a few, in most cases, you need to grow quite a few plants in order to make sure you get good cross-pollination. The other thing with open pollinated seeds is, and particularly growing them at an allotment, is what else are other people growing? For example, brassicas, you might decide that you want to pollinate your, let's say, purple sprouting broccoli. You've decided that, that was a good plant and you're going to let it go to seed, let it pollinate and save the seed from it. The only problem is the plot holder two plots down has decided to just let their kale go to seed. They're not collecting the seed. They've just haven't taken the plants out. The plants have gone to seed, and what will happen is that the plant will cross-pollinate. And so you can't be sure that the seed that you harvest is actually going to be true to the plant that you were hoping to get. Things like peas and French beans, they do not cross-pollinate. So you can actually save the seeds from those readily. And in fact, I would encourage people to do that. And I certainly keep my seeds from my French beans and from my peas. Runner beans, on the other hand, they do cross-pollinate. And of course, on an allotment, you've got absolutely no idea what other varieties people are growing. You may find the first year after you save your seeds that they're not too bad, and in which case you think everything's fine. But you could find by year 2 or 3 that the runner beans that you're getting bear absolutely no resemblance to the beans you originally started out from. Onions also cross-pollinate, but you need quite a few onion heads in order, again, to get good cross-pollination, probably about 12 plants. Now, if your space is limited, have you actually got space to grow onions or save seed or what have you? And again, you've got the problem is that if you're growing a variety of onion and someone else has decided to get their leeks go to seed, then there's every possibility that that they could cross-pollinate. You need about 150 metres between different varieties of the same species to make sure that you don't get cross-pollination. Although bees, to be honest with you, can fly for quite a long way. Some lettuce, I think it's Grenoble red lettuce, only needs 1 plant to produce seed. So that's fine because you can save the seed from that. I'm not 100% sure about whether lettuces cross-pollinate or not. I would have to look that up. I find that if I want to save seed, broad beans are another one. For the most part, most people, if you're growing broad beans over the winter, are growing aqua dulce because they're the hardy variety. Except if someone then lets their field beans go to seed, then there's a possibility of cross-pollination. Although broad beans don't need to be pollinated in order to produce beans. They are self-fertile, and but if they are pollinated, you do get a better crop. So broad beans are probably not too bad if you decide to save a couple of plants after picking your beans to give you some beans for the following year. but they may have crossed if someone's got field beans going to seed. I will grow seed at home if I want it to keep true, because nobody else grows vegetables where I live, so in their gardens. So I know that I can safely grow plants at home, which will give me the seed that I want. The storage of seeds is also important. Seeds don't like damp, and they certainly don't like heat. So if you keep your seeds somewhere that's a bit on the warm side, there's every possibility they will deteriorate. Don't keep them in the fridge. They need to be kept dry, and don't store them in plastic bags because they'll sweat. So ideally, seeds should be either kept in a wooden box, a metal box, or in paper, to make sure that they don't deteriorate too much. And whilst, as I say, you can keep seeds for more than 12 months and possibly even more than 2 years, you will find that the germination won't be as good, and you also may find that the vigour of the plants, particularly because they are open pollen, if you have got open pollinated seeds, that the vigour of the plants is not so good. The upside of open pollinated seeds is that if you do, you can develop the strain yourself. So for example, I'm having a go with red kidney beans at the moment, because as far as I'm aware, I cannot buy red kidney beans in the UK. If anybody knows where you can buy red kidney beans in the UK, please let me know. But I started off by just getting a few kidney beans out of the cupboard. So I have no idea where they came from. I know nothing about them whatsoever. And I chitted them on some paper. And I think out of 10 seeds, I got 4 that produced, I think I got 6 that produced little tails, and I got 4 that actually developed into plants. So I planted these 4 plants out. I had no idea if they were dwarf or whether they were climbers. So I did plant them by some poles, but they turned out to be dwarf beans. But they were prolific. They produced loads and loads and loads of pods and loads of seeds. And I was so delighted. So the following year I planted them. And that was very interesting. I did get red kidney beans, but I also got little black kidney beans, and I got yellow square beans, and I got red square beans. Now I've been picking out the kidney beans each time and planting them again. I'm up to year 3, I think, now. And this year I don't think I got any black ones. I only got a few red square ones, and I didn't get any yellow square ones either. But I did get more kidney beans. So who knows, by year 4 or year 5, I tend to only grow them every other year, what I'm gonna get then. You know, it's quite exciting, really. But so you can, if you save your own seeds, the seeds become acclimatized to your soil condition, our climate, and all the rest of it, because the vast majority of seeds, as I say, that are sold in this country are not produced in this country. They are grown overseas, where their climatic conditions might well be very, very different from us. So I don't think there's anything else I can say about seed, but if anybody's got any questions, please feel free to ask. Now, my next task is to lift the kohlrabi. I picked one on, so I came up here on Sunday in the pouring rain to actually get some vegetables for Sunday dinner, and I did pick a kohlrabi, and I've noticed that the frost has got at it a bit. So I'm going to pick them. I may well have to freeze them. They may chop them up and freeze them, because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to store them. I think they will just rot, and which is a bit of a shame. But I do have some space in my freezer, as we've been eating some of the stuff that's in there. Yes, so that's my next task now, and I'll come back when I've done that. Right, well, I don't know if you can see this. Let's take this out a bit a minute. This bucket of kohlrabi. One or two of them are not a bad size, although I would never call it giant, and that certainly isn't. But what I did find when I was just sorting some netting and fleece out was I found these 2 carrots. They're actually a variety called Eskimo, and to be honest with you, they would be fine in the ground because they are a winter variety of carrot. But anyway, I've lifted them. But I also found this cabbage, which, as you can see, is getting some sort of mildew on it. It's probably from the frost. To be honest with you, I don't know what the temperature got down to here. It was probably as low as -6. It was certainly -5 at home, and it's usually a bit colder here. I think it's more of a bit of a frost pocket here. And of course we had snow as well. We had about 2 inches of snow and then frost on top. Although usually the snow acts as a bit of a blanket, but what happened was that of course it melted. We had sun that day after the snow and it melted, and then we had the frost. We had some really hard frosts. I think it was either earlier this week or must have been last week. So anyway, we can eat this, which is fine. Now the other thing I'm going to show you is I found a thermometer in the ground. It should be in the compost bin, but I just thought I'd show you the temperature of the ground. All right, let's get down there. As you can see, it's about 5 degrees. So obviously weeds can grow at those sorts of temperatures, even if nothing else does. And I also found a slug. Now they should be hibernating at the moment. It was only a little those little keel slugs. So anyway, I've done my jobs up here today. As I say, it's been lovely sitting up here. Bit of a breeze, but that's fine. And time to go home now. I think it must be lunchtime. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon, hopefully. Bye.